Hi boys and girls, this is Mr. Ray, and today we are going to be creating a pumpkin farm and also talking about how things get smaller when they get farther away from us and they're bigger when they're closer to us. So this was one that it's all finished. Let's get a new one. What we're going to need today is a black sheet. We're going to need a blank or not colored in the copy of this that we're going to fill in with pumpkins and trees and things. We're going to need a pencil and a Sharpie. So first things first, you're going to flip over your page and write your name on the back with the pencil. That's my name. That says Mr. Ray. And we're going to turn that back over, and it's still on top of my black sheet. And the reason why is because I would like to protect the table from the Sharpie. If I flip this over, you see how that Sharpie came through the back. So when I use a black sheet with a Sharpie, that's rule number one, is use a black sheet under. Rule number two with a Sharpie is draw carefully and slowly, take your time, and do not color on yourself. It's not good for your body to have Sharpie on it. You can wash it off. I know they say permanent marker. It takes a while. It's more permanent than a normal marker, but our rules with our Sharpie is black paper. It's we only draw on our drawing, and we take our time, okay? So the first thing I have is a row of big circles, and then I have these lines heading back, and then I have the line, this is called the horizon line, which means this is the sky. I have the sun and clouds, and this is the ground down here. So these lines are going to help me know how big to make the rest of my pumpkins. So this first row of pumpkins, I could add 3 lines and a stem to these guys. All right, so go ahead, take your Sharpie and add 3 lines and a stem. And you can make them curved. I think it looks a little better when you curve these lines because a pumpkin is round. And this one, I can only fit one and part of the stem there. And if you want to give them a face, or a couple of them a face, you could. Maybe this one's super happy. He's glad to be a pumpkin. Now, when we're ready, we're gonna do a row of pumpkins here going back into the distance. So my next one will be a little, a little bit smaller. This circle's a little bit smaller than that one. Move back down this row. A little bit smaller, super small, and just a dot. It's so far away, it just looks like a dot. So let's repeat these. So this next one, these ones here are all about the same size going across. Just like these are the same size going across. And then each row of pumpkins behind gets a little smaller than the one before it. It's because when things get farther away, they look smaller. Do they actually get smaller? No. But they look smaller. There we go. So now my pumpkins, it goes all the way down. It's smaller and smaller and smaller. Over here, I can draw a barn by stacking a rectangle with a triangle and a rectangle with a line down the middle and another one going crossways for the door. And then over here, I can draw 3 pine trees, one big, one medium, and one small. And you should know by now, that means they're getting further away. Okay, oh, and one more thing with my Sharpie before I'm done is to finish the details on these other pumpkins. Now, you'll notice it is harder to fit the lines when they get smaller. So in these ones back here, you probably won't be able to fit the lines, and that's okay. And your stems will get smaller and smaller too, and that's okay. Your mind will just sort of pretend that they're there. So tiny stems, Little baby stems. 2 lines instead of 3. This one maybe has 1. Yeah, that's pretty tiny. I don't want to cover that up. All right, so once you get this far, you're going to stop and give it to put it in the red basket. Right now we'll pause. The rest of this video will be for our second day, which is about the coloring. Okay, so if this is the end of the first day, we're going to stop here, and when this is finished, we're stopping. So now this is the start of our second day, where we're going to color this in with crayons. And basically, the things to remember when we color, we want to use the correct color. So here's the deal. When it comes to these pumpkins, I've got a box of crayons here, and it looks like it has about 5 or 6 different colors of orange. This one says scarlet, this one says melon, this one says orange, this one says macaroni and cheese, this one says yellow orange, this one says red orange. All these look like orange. As long as you're using one of them that says orange, something like that, is fine. They're all pretty much different types of orange. So we're gonna pick an orange, color your whole pumpkin in, and same thing for the other colors that we use. So when it comes to brown, let's take a look. We've got brown, chestnut, sepia, raw sienna. These are all different types of brown in here. Burnt sienna. Those are all good colors for a stem. So I'm gonna pick brown for that. And over here on the trees. Same thing for the barn. We wanna pick a red, all right? So if there's different shades of red, pick a red. This one just is red. I mean, there's also violet red, that's gonna be a little bit pinker. And red orange is gonna be a little bit oranger. And same thing with our green for our grass. There's gonna be different shades of green for grass and different for trees. Let me show you this. I've got a darker green for this tree and a lighter green for the grass. And then blue and yellow. There's lots of different blues here that I could pick from. This one says Blutiful. This one says Cerulean. This one says Cornflower. This one says Sky Blue. That's the color I used on here. And there's just so many different kinds. As long as you're choosing a blue, it's gonna be okay. And this is ordinary blue. I used sky blue and a light green and a darker green and orange, and I colored the whole thing in. So take your time, color carefully, use a right color. Like I said, there's not just one choice of color, but use a color that looks correct, okay? And fill it in. When you're done, Mr. Ray will take a picture of it, and then you can have it to take home, okay? Thanks for watching, good job.